Republican Senator Mike Crapo of Idaho has now announced that he will be supporting the report from the President's Deficit Commission. He's standing by with Bloomberg's Peter Cook on Capitol Hill. Peter?
Margaret, thanks very much. I am joined by Senator Mike Crapo of Idaho. Thank you for the time. A difficult decision for you, but you just announced just a short time ago you will back this deficit panel report. Tell me why.
Well, yes, I will back this deficit panel report, and very strongly. And the reason is that even though it contains a tremendous amount of policy that I don't like and has many painful decisions in it, it does have a lot of positive development. It will put us on an enforced and sustained pathway to reduce our spending in the United States to a balanced budget over time and reduce the ratio of our debt to our GDP, which will be tremendously important to our country. And it will actually put us on a pathway to tax reform rather than just continuing to battle over whether we should increase or decrease rates.
The support from you and also from Oklahoma Senator Tom Coburn, a fellow Republican also on the panel today, moves us to 9 yay votes. You need 14 to formally trigger congressional consideration. Do you think your support, Senator Coburn's, going to tip the balance here? We're going to get to 14?
Well, we certainly both hope so. We talked about that, and we hope the fact that we are ready to support and engage in adopting this plan will help others make the decision to move forward. And the reason is the time for partisanship and gridlock is far past on this issue. We are far too close to an economic collapse in our country that could be devastating, and the consequences of that are far more painful than anything in this plan.
You talked about you don't like everything in this plan, but are you convinced that there is the will, the political risk-taking on the part of other members of Congress to embrace some of these very difficult choices right now?
I believe that we can get there if we can get this plan in front of Congress. Nobody's ready to step up and take the attacks that are going to come from all quarters as this plan is put on the table. But once it's out there and people have to make that commitment and that decision on the floor of Congress with a vote, I believe we can get there. And the reason I believe that is because the danger we face as a nation is so severe and the consequences of inaction are so great that we must take action.
Now, there are polls suggesting the American people aren't yet with you there on those issues. Certainly there was concern about deficit spending, about the budget overall in the last election. But you look at some poll numbers, Americans, not all of them, are convinced that there is this risk right now that these tough choices need to be made, certainly with regard to their own personal lives.
That's true. But I believe that it's going to be inescapable as we get into this debate to conclude anything other than we must act in some way. And I also believe that right now the American people are being told all of the negative parts about this plan. They're not being told the positive parts as much. And I believe as the full plan gets better understood, people will actually start to come around and say, you know, there is pain in here for me and for every other American, but it's not even close to the pain that we're going to face if we don't take action.
The Senate Democratic leader Harry Reid, as well as Speaker Pelosi, both committed earlier that if this plan was presented, voted on in the Senate, it would be considered as well in the House of Representatives. Are you convinced that the Republican leadership on the Senate side and now the new Republican-controlled House next year will make that same commitment?
Yes, I am. I haven't heard that commitment made yet, but I don't have any doubt but that if we get the 14 votes necessary to put this plan forward, that the leadership on the Republican and the Democrat side will let us move it forward in the next Congress.
All right. First on Bloomberg, Senator Mike Crapo with his decision today. Thank you very much for the time. Appreciate you joining us. And Margaret, we'll send it back to you in New York.